Thank you for coming. We started Shaar Gimel Parak Aleph of the Nefesh Hachaim. Complicated, highly philosophical. Come a little. What do you have? Come close. Highly philosophical Shaar Gimel, and one can ask themselves, is it really important to delve into this? So what I want to do is convince you and convince myself that it's very important. First of all, the question is after going through this in my mind a couple of thousand times over the years, and particularly in the last week, the question is: there's Hashem, there's the world. Hashem created the world. So far, everybody with me? The world is a nivra. The world is a creation of Hashem. So, when Hashem created the world, there's two possibilities. World, like running this world, like a puppet of some sort, like we're in more modern technology, like we're running a drone, remote control. Or is he in this world? Meaning, in Kabbalistic language, the word is tzimtzum. So tzimtzum can have two meanings, each one the opposite of the other. One meaning of tzimtzum is that he was mitzamtzem himself into the world. I'll explain what's compelling about both ideas. Another idea of tzimtzum is he was mitzamtzem himself out of the world. Two opposite pshatim and tzimtzum. It's confusing if you don't know if you don't expect there to be a machlokes about this. Like you look in this sefer, why does he say tzimtzum is this? You look in that sefer, it says tzimtzum is that. The answer is that we don't, unclear. But here's the milo and the chasaron, if you will, both ways. By the way, I'm not a politician. I'm not taking sides here. But if you say that Hashem created the world, but he's not here, so then what do you do with psukim like Malay Kolaretz Kevaydai, Ein Oid Milvadai, Ein Oid Milvadai? There really is nothing else but Hashem. So if you go to the idea that, I just started to open up here, the very first Rambam in Hilchos Yesodei Torah, which is, the Rambam saw fit to open up his whole chibur, main chibur, with this idea. I'm not sure if it was helpful to somebody like me, but he says here at the beginning, one shouldn't be so hard to find the beginning. 1 second. Just read a Rambam first. Yesod ha-yesodos v'amud ha-chochmos. Sounds important, yeah? Yesod ha-yesodos v'amud ha-chochmos. He starts off with Yud Kei Vav Kei. Rambam. Yesod ha-yesodos v'amud ha-chochmos. Leida's here. Leida, to know sheyesh sham matzui rishon. Not to know there's a God, but to know there's a matzui rishon. There's an original existence. Is that a good way to translate it for now? Original existence. Matzui rishon. Matzui is like a lashon of metzius. It's a metzius, reality. Let's call it reality. I like that. Let's call it a reality. There's an original reality. There's a reality called Hashem. Fundamental, man. Let's say, if in our language, in our jargon, if we say, look, it's a metzius. It's a metzius, right? So it's a metzius. It's real. It's a reality. And that reality, called Hashem, v'hu mamsi kol hanimtza. He creates all reality. V'chol hanimtzaim, says the Rambam, min hashamayim v'oretz u'ma beinehem, everything that exists. Shamayim, oretz, earth, Jupiter, everything. Lo nimtza'u ela me'amitas himatzai. This is the Yesodas v'sherish v'amud ha'chachmos. That every reality that exists only exists from the emes of his reality. V'im yala al adas, says the Rambam, shuhu einer matzui. If you would think for a minute, maybe Hashem no longer exists. Aristotle held like that. Hashem created the world and walked away from it. So who cares? He exists, doesn't exist. I don't think he says that he doesn't exist, but he's maskim to the Brias Ha'olam, but it's not important anymore. Finish. Well, we have a world. Deal with it. If yala al adas, shuhu einer matzui, says the Rambam, you should know, ein davar acher yachalim sois. Nothing else would be real. Nothing else would be. If Hashem wouldn't be, the world wouldn't be. What does that tell you? Not too much. V'im yala al adas, and if you would consider for a moment, she'ein kol hanimsoim milvadoi mitzuyim, that let's say there's nothing else in the world except for him, hu levadoi yamatzu, he would exist. V'lo yivata hu lebitula, meaning all of reality is dependent on his reality, but he's not dependent on any other reality. Everybody needs him, but he doesn't need anybody. Therefore, there's a difference between the emes, again, let's translate it as the reality as opposed to truth. Maybe emes means reality. There's a difference between the reality of Hashem and the reality of everything else. Because the reality of Hashem is real, depends on nothing. The reality of everything else is dubious because it's only a reality because he's a reality. So, Hu Navi Oimer, that's what the Navi Oimer, interesting, present tense. V'Hashem Elikim Emes. Hu Levadoi HaEmes Ve'ein La'acher Emes Kamitoy. Not talking about there's no other gods. There is no other reality but Hashem himself. Now, Hu Sha'Torah Oimeres Ein Oid Milvadoi. Period. When we talk Ein Oid Milvadoi. So Rabbi says, is this real? Is this real? Is it real? Is it emes? So he says, no, it's not emes. Ein sham matsui emes milvadoi kemoisei. There's no other emes but him. Matsui has said, what is that emes? Hu elikai ha'olam adon kol ha'aretz, etc. Then he goes on to elikai ze'achadhu. The Rambam's famous thing, which we need to get to, Meshech Hazman, is echad, yachid, umeyuchad. Three yesodis that the Rambam puts down. He's echad, he's yachid, and he's miyuchad. Echad means there's one, ein achtus kachdusai. One is one. It's not divisible. It's not divisible into two, into three, into 50. It's not divisible. It's just one. Yachid means that something, it's like the opposite, because yachad means two things that are together, and miyuchad is unusual, special. But let's deal with the echad for a second. So the Rambam sees fit, I just say this, the Rambam sees fit to put at the beginning of the whole Mishnah Torah, where he talks about Kachim and Tyrus and Hilchas Shabbos and Hilchas Shemitah. The first thing you need to know is that there's only one reality in this world, and that reality is Hashem. Other than him, like I think I'm talking to you right now, no. Einoid milvadei. What could that possibly mean? Boggles the mind. So what? So on the one hand, just 1 second. Let me just because I'm not. It's hard for me to concentrate. On the one hand, you have a situation where. Let's get back to Tzimtzum for a second. Tzimtzum, Hashem created the world. So what does that mean? Did he create a reality or did he not create a reality? So let's say if the world is real and there's only one reality, that means Hashem put himself in this world. You thinking with me? This is not easy. If Hashem is real and the world is real, that means the world is Hashem. Because there is no other reality but him. That's what the Rambam said. Okay, hello Spinoza. We just became pantheists because now what happens is if everything has Hashem in it, so it's very popular and it's very romantic and it's very beautiful and it's very good curative material to say God is everywhere. I like it. I say it myself. We talk about the Pinteleid within ourselves. Everybody has a little bit of God in them. Every place has God. Some places more God than other places. You can't compare the Beis HaMikdash to a Beis HaKisei in terms of the presence of God. It's nice. It may be apokarsis, might be kfira, because if you're saying that this has a little bit of Hashem in it, or you have a little bit of Hashem in it, and I have a little bit, so let's bring each other karbanos, I'll bring you a carbon, you'll bring me a carbon. Once you say there's anything other than Hashem, einoid milvadoi, yesh lanu baya. So, but by the way, again, I'm not a politician. I'm not taking the side. I'm just trying to explain the machlokes.
What does real mean?
Hello. Let's work on it. Let's work on it. But so comes the Hasidim became very worried about this. That how can there be anything but Hashem? So they say, well, Hashem must be in everything. Came the Gra and the Misnag, just one period in history. I believe the same thing happened with the Rambam and the Raavad. I can prove it to you. And it happened with the Rav Sadia Gaon and the Kuzari. Over and over in history, the same thing over and over and over again. That if there's only one thing and that's Hashem, Hashem's in everything, we have a new problem. Well, how could Hashem be in everything? So Hashem is in nothing. So the only reality is Hashem. So now we have a bigger problem, because now Hashem has extracted himself from the world. So now you have something independent of Hashem. Kamlotov, einoid milvadoi. So which way do you want to go? So came philosophers like Spinoza, Kofrim, and they said, the world is God, finished, that's it. You want to know where God is? God is in nature. Again, it's a very beautiful idea in a way, isn't it? Like you walk through nature, there's God in them hills. Beautiful. But it's kfir. It's kfir. What does that mean? You're going to dive into the hills? You're going to dive into the person? To beautiful flowers you're going to dive in? It's beautiful, but it's not Jewish. It's kfir. So what do you say? Well, God is not in them hills. He made them, but it's independent. So now what are you saying? We're saying that, well, there's God, and then there's something else. Gamlo tov. So we're stuck. But the machlokes is so important that it questions. The Rambam puts it the first thing, but it questions. Sometimes you could take something which is so beautiful and so simple, and it's kfira. That's how important this is. So it's interesting that the Baal HaTanya took a mahalach, it seems, putting this book aside because he's got his own theory there, but the pashtus is that the Baal HaTanya went into a theory which says, he pushed on this, and he says that Hashem is in everything, but it's not what I called last week, not pantheism, panentheism. Hashem is in everything and somehow transcends everything. So he writes a whole book, Shaar trying to explain how he's in everything, but he's not everything. Everything's not him. So it's like a gilui of Hashem. That's the Baal HaTanya. Rabbi Nachman, I think it's in Torah Samach Tes. Rabbi Nachman was, by the way, he didn't push. If I understand, if I'm permitted to say, Rabbi Nachman was a contemporary of the Baal HaTanya. They met each other, they talked to each other. So the Rabbi Nachman was a Gaon. I mean, you can't write Svarim like that without being a Gaon and having Ruach HaKodesh. You just can't do it. But what he's pushing is pashtus. Like his mahalach is a mahalach of pashtus. So he says that it's impossible for the mind to understand the answer to this. Where is Hashem? They were talking on Sunday, Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is really everywhere. Kfira. Don't sing that song, right? Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is there. Where's Hashem? I don't know. But on the other hand, if you don't say that, kfira. So Reb Nachman says, too hard for the human brain to understand it, just forget about it. That's basically the upshot of his Torah. Like to be a frum Jew, you don't have to try to understand things which you're not able to understand. Okay, the Gra fiercely objected to that, as did the Baal HaTanya. They both wanted to understand it. So you have, let's say, in the Jewish world, and the Goyim went and then you have Reb Chaim Volozhin. Now, again, I'm not one to say that it's who's right here. I'm just saying that what's the shita of the Nefesh Hachaim? That Hashem is real. This is the way he understands the Rambam. The world is not real. See, Allah Shalom said that I have no question in my mind that Hashem is real, but I do have a question whether the world is real. Or to use his lashon, I have no question in the world that Hashem is kayam, but I do have a question whether the world is kayam. So that is, in my opinion, I'm just giving you an introduction to the whole Shaar. That's the shita of the Nefesh Hachaim. How it works, we need to learn. But the shita of the Nefesh Hachaim is that the world is not real. Period. It's like, yeah.
Same idea from a different angle. In the Python we read on Yom Narayim, he describes our world, our reality.
Kehillat Shivtei Yeshurun. Yep. No, we say this, it gets me every year. Kehillat Shivtei Yeshurun. That at the end of the day, the whole world is like a dream. Forgive my childhood secularity. I just want to give a mashal, nothing more. But everybody watched or read Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. I'm just familiar territory. No, never seen. You're too young. No, I was thinking about it because the mayor, Eliza Bloch, so her English name is Alice. So, I'm telling you.
She's in Wonderland.
Yeah, she's in Wonderland. So this is Eliza Bloch and Bet Shemesh, Alice in Wonderland. But then I mentioned this to somebody, so this is how this came about in my mind. If you're interested in this, I mentioned this to somebody last night, that her name is Alice. So they told me that Alice in Wonderland in Hebrew is Aliza, Be'eretz Hapela or something like that. But Aliza, Okay, Haplot. Aliza, it's okay. So let's talk. Here's the story as best I can remember from 55 years ago. That the story is Alice is looking into the mirror, looking glasses they called them in those days. By the way, Lewis Carroll didn't just write Alice in Wonderland. He wrote 6 books of philosophy and 3 books of mathematics. I Googled it. So that's real. He was a philosopher. It was a Galach also, very, very devout Christian, and this is a philosophical story. But let's just look at it for 1 minute. Just give me a minute, indulge me. So here's Alice looking in the mirror, and she falls into the mirror and falls into a different world, and in their world everything is red or blue. The whole world is divided into 2, if I recall. And she goes and she sees this whole world. I think she's red, and she sees this whole world, and there's this whole world, and she comes to finds the king of the red, and the king of the red is sleeping under a tree. So she's intrigued with the king of the red. Forgive me if I have the details wrong, but the idea I have right. She comes to the king of the red, and everybody gathers around her in this place here, and says, "Don't wake him up, because we are all his dream, and if he wakes up, then we will cease to exist." Okay, gets lost on kids, this idea. And she goes through this whole tahalich of being there until she comes all the way around and ends up in front of the mirror back where she started, and she realizes that she was sleeping, and she says, "1 second. Is that world exist because I'm sleeping, or do we exist because he's sleeping?" And the confusion is there. So this is meaning Bilshoni. What's real anyway? So how many times do people say in the course of a lifetime, "Pinch me, is this real?" or "It's surreal"? How many times do we say that this can't be real? So what is it? So, so on the one hand, and this is the question, Einoid Milvadoi. So is it real? No. What happens when we leave this world? We go to the Olam Ha-Emes. That's real. So what is this world? Not an Olam Ha-Emes? No. Alma D'Shikra. But what does it mean? So Alma D'Shikra, like if you don't think about it, what Alma D'Shikra means to most people is that there's a lot of lying going on here. No. Alma D'Shikra is that, no, Lav Dafka, it's not real. The whole thing's not real. Like we are a dream. Hayinu Kecholmim. What does that mean, Hayinu, by the way?
What do you mean?
No, I've just translated for you.
Our existence.
Just translate it. But Shuv Hashem Shiva Siyain, when Mashiach will come, Hayinu Kecholmim.
We were like...
Right, not what everybody says, we will be like dreamers. Lamafreya. That's what it means. Hayinu, all right? Hayinu Kecholmim Lamafreya, this whole thing was just a dream? Meaning, what's a dream? A dream is not reality. But when you're in the dream, whether it's a nightmare or whether it's a pleasant dream, it's very real. It's very painful. You can wake up shaking and not even believe that wasn't real. It was so real. Everybody's had that kind of experience. So, what the Nefesh, let's forget the Nefesh Hachaim. What Rav Kook is saying is, I don't know. I know Hashem is Kayam, but is this all that we're going through right now? Is it real? I have a suffix whether it's real. Nefesh Hachaim, probably didn't know the story of Aliza in Wonderland, but what he, or he couldn't even give the mashal of a movie being projected on the screen, which is so real. I was thinking this morning that years ago when I lived in Australia, so I think this is the last movie that I ever saw was Schindler's List. And I had to see Schindler's List because that was the thing to do. And so I went to see Schindler's List. It was a horrible thing to sit through, especially if you're not used to watching, TV or movies or, and he's a good producer, so, but I remember in the middle, there's two things. I remember in the middle, so my wife who was with me, she said, she's much more emotional than me about it, but she said, I don't have to be in a concentration camp. I don't have to be in a concentration camp. I was born out, I don't have to be there. So I told you, not there, we're watching a movie. It created a reality. But the point that brought it home was that I was the only Jew or obvious Jew in the audience of 200-300 people in a theater. And after the movie, so, the lights go on and, the popcorn thing goes in and all that. And everybody's looking at me. Until now, so all of a sudden, instead of watching the movie, I became part of the movie, like people actually came over to me and said, I'm really sorry. So, I can't believe what you went through. I was the movie. So there was a moment of blur. No, I'm just trying to, I didn't do any LSD this morning. I'm just trying to understand. There's a blur. There is a blur. The moment you wake up, dream, there's a blur between reality and not reality. But the fact is that what you dreamt is not reality. So Nefesh Hachaim is learning that what it can't be. Understand what's mukhrach here. It can't be that the world is real. How could it be that the world is real? If the world is real, so there's only two possibilities. One possibility is that as Hashem is in it, so we have kfira, we have pantheism. The other possibility that Hashem is not in it, so then what happened to Einoid Milvadoi? So when and hence you have the machlokes, the Hasidim and the Misnagdim. So comes the Nefesh Hachaim almost with a third shita, saying there is nothing else but Hashem. Listen to the goyness of it. Einoid Milvadoi, there's a world. He's not in it, he's not out of it. It doesn't exist. You understand? This is a new shita. There's a Reb Nachman saying, I can't deal with the whole thing. He said, don't deal with it. So you can listen. A person's permitted to say, I don't know. I don't understand how but ad kedei kach. The reason I keep mentioning Rabbi Nachman is that ad kedei kach is this a dilemma that Rabbi Nachman says you can't even understand. It's beyond human comprehension. Sometimes you have to say, I don't know. That's all. I just don't know. How do you know if you don't know? But on the other hand, putting that aside, if you don't know, so like Reb Chaim Brisker said, Nebuchadnezzar is Eichet. Like if you are practicing, so it could be, according to the Gra in any case, if you walk around saying, whoa, God is everywhere, and I see the God in you, and the Pintele Yid, and all of those beautiful things, it could be that you're the same madrega of a desire, except you're not being oivid it, but you're believing in it. So you have to say that, no, God is not in this world. I know I'm repeating myself, I'm just summarizing. God is not in this world. Well, if he's not in this world, where is he?
Just the Gra, because he's not in the world.
No, the Gra says you can't say. He doesn't explain. That's the interesting thing about the Gra. He doesn't say what you can say. You can't say that he's in this world. Then he's mechulak tichalakim. That's lack of echad. Then it's pantheism. He felt it was pantheism. And Shapsai Tzvi, this is why he was so worried about it. You understand that the Gra viewed himself as being created in this world to stop all the influence and all the harm that Shapsai Tzvi did. Period. That was during the time of Shapsai Tzvi, this hashkafa, pantheistic hashkafa really, entered into the world where Shapsai Tzvi could say, like, I'm God. Listen, what's Christianity? Christianity is the belief that God is walking around in this world. That's all. Not so bad, right? I mean, they're not believing that he's a prophet or that he's God, piece of God. God, they divided. Some people like to divide God into 2, some people into 20. They like triplicates. Okay, so it's God, but they're not saying he's the Shechina. They're not saying he's God, the Lord. That's what they say. So Shapsai Tzvi followed in that. Reb Tzadok says the same thing. Shapsai Tzvi, Yashka, same thing. That's what Reb Tzadok says. So it is the same thing. It's all different forms of pantheism. So the Gra took his mission in the world so much, and people love to believe it because it's touch and feel, and you can relate to it, and it's a nice thing to believe. But so he went and looked at every single text and saw whether it was changed. That's why in every single Rambam there's the Tziyunim of the Gra. And the Gra put on plain clothes and went from city to city to find old volumes of a Rashba, of a Ramban, to find old things. That was all his Gullus was about, just to find out what's the correct Girsa, what's the correct Girsa in Seder Olam and Talmud Bavli and Talmud Yerushalmi. That's what the Gra was doing. That's what he was all about. He was a Goin. But Mamela, he learned correct shot. But just to get rid of all the wrong shot, and everything, and the wrong shot and everything. This is such a yesod. The wrong shot and everything had to do with the chash, the gross chash of pantheism. And he said that what's going to happen, as I said on Sunday, what can happen, says the Gra, is with Hasidim. What can happen is you won't see it now, but you might see it in 10 generations, where people are actually worshiping a Rebbe. That's what he said. So, okay, So that's the Gra. He doesn't say what is. He says what isn't. It can't be. On the other hand, says the Balatanya, very, very clear, I believe, in Shaar Yichud Ve'amunah, very, very clear that Leis Asar Panui Minei, it's a before Shazayar, Leis Asar, there is, and he, understanding, I guess, Asar meaning as reality, there's no reality which he is not in. So Leis Asar Panui Minei, there's no place where he isn't. The Kutzker said, where is God? Any place you let him in. And all these beautiful Hasidic things, which I, by the way, are more anointed to than in Nefesh Hachaim or than the Gra. And it seems to me that the Nefesh Hachaim, Rabbi Chaim Volozhin, is saying almost like a compromise between them. He's saying, of course there can't be anything without Hashem, meaning, I agree with you, Balatanya. He says that of course you can't say that there's a reality besides for Hashem. And you can't say that Hashem isn't everything. I agree with you, Rabbeinu Hagra. So what could I say? I could say that the world is not real, so there's no problem. If the world is not real, it's kichaloim yauf. So what's the problem? So the problem is we are real. We feel like we're real, but maybe we're not real. And when you die, you go to Adol Olam. So let me just say one thing. I'm sorry. Let me just say a word of Nefesh Hachaim. So Nefesh Hachaim, Shaar Gimel, Perek Aleph, Perek Beis, is based on this thing. You see, and I just want to say this quickly. You see, the world is called. You see, Hashem is called Makom. You see it in many, many places. We just had the Haggadah Shel Pesach. Baruch HaMakom, Baruch Hu. HaMakom Yirachim Aleim. Right. The Anshe Knesset Agdola, or the early Hasidim Rishonim were machavin for an hour lifnei atfila l'chavin es libam el hamakom. Makom. It's basically a word of Chazal, although they point out that possibly makom in the Chumash and Tanakh also means that. Makom. So why is Hashem called makom? Says Chazal, and I just want to point this out, because he's called makom, which doesn't answer why he's called makom. Chazal say, Lama nikra HaKadosh Baruch Hu makom, mipnei she hu makoyma shel olam ve'ein ha'olam makoymai. That's the key. That's the key. Chazal driving this whole thing. Makom means merchav, yes, space. So hu b'koybay shel olam. So like here, you have a table and you have the tissues. So the tissues are on the table. That who ein ha'olam makoymai. No, it's not that Hashem is in. Look at the same thing. The tissues are on the table. You can say, where's the table? Well, the table's under the tissues. You could, so who b'koybay shel olam, Hashem is the place. He's not in a place. Now, before I say another word, you can think about that for the rest of your life. That what does it mean? What does it even mean? What Chazal say? But I just want to say one thing that it for sure means. Clear, l'chayra. Ein ha'olam b'koybay, second half. Ein ha'olam b'koybay means, translate?
You don't need the Makayla to have it.
What do you mean need? Which word means need? Ein ha'olam b'koybay.
That Hashem
This world,
without the Makom, without the world.
I don't know why you're being so philosophical. Just translate. No, but translate. Ein ha'olam b'koybay.
This is not his place.
It's not his place. He's not here. He's not here. Isn't that what it means? Alonim sapo. So, Eino Elam Makoymai, what meaning, the simple meaning? I mean, you can say drushes, but the simple meaning is, I don't know what the first part means, right? Hu Makoymai Shaloilam, okay. Pashat Pshat, like you're saying, it's like it's the Rambam, like Hu Makoymai Shaloilam, that he's a reality, but what I'm interested in, just to end over here.
The context in which reality exists.
Well, okay,
So that the context is always there, it's just not manifest.
Ein Ha'olam Makoymai. You think that Hashem is in this world? He's not. Ein ha'olam makoymai. Isn't that what it means? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. I'm waiting. Why?
This isn't my place, but I'm here right now.
Why is this your place? You're taking up space right
It's
here.
not my place. My place is my house. My place is someplace else.
Oh, so you're learning a different Taichin place. But the Pashat shot is, if you're taking up space here, this is the space you're taking up. So this is your makom right now. At this moment, this is your makom? True or false?
I'm in this place.
You're in this makom. So ein ha'olam makoymai, not by Hashem. Is Hashem in this makom? Do we have a problem? Yes, because if you say Hashem's not in this makom, then there's a place without Hashem. If you say Hashem is in this makom, so besides for all the philosophical problems and the dangers of it, the Chazal say ein ha'olam makoymai. I'm just saying.
It was created because you're teaching Makom in a very simplistic way.
Okay, thank you. So let me end with this sentence. You know what the word makom means? What does it really mean?
Context?
What sense it is?
What does the word mean? What's the root of the word? Kiyum. Kiyum. Ein ha'olam kayom. What does kiyum mean in English? Exist. So it's mamash the Rambam teaching up the Gemara. It's mamash the Rambam saying pshat in the Gemara. Ein ha'olam mekaymai. The world is not the cause of existence or The world does not. Can you say if this doesn't have a place? If I don't have any place, then I don't exist. Is it true? Yes or no? If I have no place to be, no place. Not that I could be. I have no place in the shul. I have no place in the city. I have no place. Where? No place.
I was just thinking of
That's
physical,
by
but
definition I don't exist.
Exactly.
you're talking about physical. But what about an angel's not physical? Malach's not physical, so Malach doesn't exist.
Ein ha'olam makoymai. Whatever level you're talking about, the world is not the reality in which it's not a reality. But one thing is clear. Okay, we got to learn. But one thing is clear that what the Chazal, the Pashut of Pshat and Chazal, Pashut of Pshat. Maybe we're not allowed to do Pashut of Pshat, but we got to start there, right? Got to start somewhere. The Pashut of Pshat and Chazal is two parts, a Reish and a sefer. That hu makoymai shel olam, hu makoymai shel olam. So the world exists in him. Where's that? I don't know. Ve'ein ha'olam mekoymai. Ein ha'olam mekoymai. I'm saying simple shot. Simple shot is ein. Where's Hashem? Not in the olam. Where's Hashem? Avu is God, right? Well, ein ha'olam mekoymai. Like the positive shot would be that like somebody would come in here and say, "Where is Rabbi Haber?" Well, this is not his makom. You got the wrong place, or wrong Rabbi Haber, or he doesn't exist. he doesn't. There's no such thing.
He's an idea.
He's an idea. He's a concept. He's a concept. Okay, so I just wanted to. I want to make this, real. It's not just like we're playing shashuim here in philosophical chakiras. It's extremely important to understand what Yiddishkeit is. What did Avram Avinu teach us? Like, what is the Rambam saying? What is Chazal saying? That's all what I want. Do you want to say something before? Yeah. It's okay. Go ahead.
According to the idea that the world is not real, according to the Nefesh Hachaim, then what's the difference between good or bad?
What's the difference?
Between good or bad?
Oh, so let me tell. That's a good question. He says, "What's the difference? What we do?" So I see it like this. Here's my pashut pshat before we open the sefer even. Pashut pshat's like this. Let's say, because I don't know if they understood as well as we do. Because today, let's say you're taking a test to go into, let's say, the army. So they can put you into it, they can put a fancy pair of glasses on your face. And you're into a mode of virtual reality. And, you could really be there and you can react. Are you going to jump in front of the bullet? Are you going to shoot? Are you going to be a hero, or are you going to be a loser and a coward? And all of these things come out in the person, and then they can, by this experiment, they can know where to put you in the army. I'm just making this up, but they can know where to put you in the army based on this virtual reality. Was it real? No. Well, does it make a difference how you react? Yes. Why? Because it makes a difference how you react, because how you react tells us what you are. Because our neshama is real. Our neshama is real. So if the neshama is real, so now where are you going to be in the olam ha'emes? Now, by the way, the olam ha'emes doesn't necessarily mean when you die. Olam ha'emes, when Mashiach comes, maybe it'll be an olam ha'emes. That's what I think. But where are you going to be in the olam ha'emes? This is a playground, a practice place. What do you call it in the army when you go through? No. Obstacle course. Thank you. So the whole world is an obstacle course. Is it real? It's not real, but it's an obstacle course. It's a training thing. This is everything that could possibly happen to you in battle. They have to, from decade to decade. But everything that could possibly happen to you, you're going to have to go high. You're going to have to go low. You're going to have to jump. You're going to have to go into a hole. You're going to have to stand on your head. Like, these are all the things that you need to do. Is it real? It's not real. So when they say it's not real, this is the obstacle course for the neshama, and now we can know what is the emes of this person. Yeah, we can know what's the emes of this person.
If the world's not real, then how could you even say that Hashem exists?
Why not? I mean, how can you say it?
What do you mean?
Torah. Final thought. I apologize, but it's Yom Ha'atzmaut, so I'm going over time. But just let me just Go back to very basics. Nefesh Hachaim. Shaar Aleph is a treatise on understanding what is a person. Shaar Beis Tefillah is a treatise on understanding how a person relates to Hashem. Shaar Gimel is a treatise, an essay explaining what is Hashem. Shaar Daled is an essay explaining Torah, which is a reality unto itself, and that's why it's Shaar Daled, and that's why we can say that there is Hashem. So what is Elokus? That's what he's after in Shaar Gimel, and that's the Seder Hadvarim. Okay, I'm going to end here.
Interesting, it didn't start with that.